This is some wild stuff, guys. The Panthers finally got their two-time All-Star back on the ice for full practices with a very healthy team. His presence, however, could create some shakeups in some of the lines before game one of their first round playoff series. Exciting things. We're going to go over all the different possibilities line-wise and go over some stats and numbers as well as the first round matchup against the Tampa Bay Lightning, guys. Thank you for joining me on Panthers Digest. I am Greg Andrews. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below, guys. You need to stay in the know with anything and everything that has to do with your defending Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers. Stay in the know, guys. Post-game analysis, injuries, news, anything and everything. I will be delivering it to you guys. So please hit that subscribe button down below. Big news. Matthew Tkachuk is finally on the ice practicing in full pads and gear with the team, and he looks awesome, guys. I am excited that he is back. The team is excited that he is back. His coach is excited that he is back. I think Panthers Nation is excited that Matthew Tkachuk is back in action. So that was the breaking news. He had his first skate around on Saturday with the team, full pads. He was practicing. Well, I'll tell you who he was practicing with in just a second, but he looked good. All things looked great. Signs point to a very good possibility that he will play on Tuesday night in game one of their first round series against the Tampa Bay Lightning, guys. Awesome news. Awesome. And there it is. He could return for game one, but the water was still a little bit murky when Paul Maurice was asked about his possible return into the full lineup for game one. You can see right here. Well, it's on the next slide, excuse me. He does say that, there it is. Matthew said, Matthew looked like Matthew. He looked good on the ice, but there's not enough to go on in just that practice to make a decision on whether or not he's going to start him on one of his lines. It's obviously it's probably going to be the second line is what it's looking like right now, because the first line is Verhaeghe, Barkov, and Reinhart right now. And we'll go over the lines in a little bit. But all things are pointing to him playing as of right now, but again, that's more of a rumor because we will not know a definitive answer, and I will tell you when we will get a definitive answer in just a moment. But yeah, Tkachuk was on the second line with Sam Bennett and rookie Mackie Samoskevich. They had chemistry before his injury, before the Four Nations Cup. They had 4 great periods together, and Paul Maurice really liked what he saw, so I understand what he's doing. Keep the chemistry there. Don't fix what isn't broken. Keep things working. And Mackie Samoskevich has had one hell of a year as a rookie. He's put up some really solid numbers. Obviously, he's not going to be rookie of the year, but still, he's been playing some great hockey as of late. He's been scrappy. He's been getting to the loose pucks. He's a speedster too, and he's created some great plays on offense as well as on defense. So great line to keep him on there. So the other part of this is he was also practicing on Florida's first power play unit, and was doing reps with them. So that's to me saying, hey, you know what? He's going to be available for game 2. He's going to play. He's going to be on that second line. Sounds good. All things point to him playing, but again, we're not going to have an official decision until right there on Monday after they practice. Paul Maurice will come out and give us his decision on whether or not he believes Matthew Tkachuk is ready. But he said he's looked good. From the videos that I have seen, he looks comfortable. It doesn't look like he's battling that injury. But again, I've said this in so many of my all my episodes, that a groin injury is a very tricky one because it takes a long time for it to heal properly. If you want to be at 100%, it doesn't take just 6, 7, 8 weeks. It could take 3 or 4 months, unfortunately. But here we are today. He's a young dude. He's been, in that training room, I'm sure as often as he possibly can, trying to get this dang thing to heal so that he can be ready for game 1 of the playoffs, which it looks like he should be. So, full practice, full team, they're healthy. No more injury bug on this team as of right now. The injury report is clean, which is great news. And part of this that I wanted to talk about was Brad Marchand being on the third line with Lundell and Lustrainen. That's good. There's great production on that line. Those guys are scrappy as well. I think it's a great thing keeping things where they are right now in terms of the lines, which we'll get to in a minute. And we'll go through them in terms of, these are good plays by Paul Maurice. Because again, don't fix what isn't broken. Keep your lines where they are, wherever the chemistry is for now, keep it there. If it's working, keep it. There's going to be production on all of these lines, all of them. So I'm liking it. I'm digging it. They're deep. This team is really deep, and that's one of the things that Paul Maurice has really gone on to say and talk about some of these other guys. Again, Nico Sturm, Seth Jones, and obviously Brad Marchand. Those guys have been huge additions to this team just to add to that depth of the roster that is very formidable to other teams. That's one of the biggest things the Panthers have that other teams do not have going into their first round series. And even as they get deeper into the playoffs, that depth of talent, the Panthers have it. I'm excited to see what's going to happen because it's going to be a scrappy first round series, man. These guys, it's going to get dangerous. I'm telling you, it's going to get dangerous and super exciting. So on the road, the Panthers have been great. The last 2 years, they've been 15 and 8, 15 and 8 on the road in the last 2 seasons in the playoffs. Great numbers. Last year, they were 7 and 4 on their Stanley Cup championship run. So all signs point to good things. They've been a great road team in the playoffs, and let's hope it stays that way. The best part, like I just said, they are deeper than they were last year. They're a better team than they were last year. Don't let the regular season numbers fool you guys. This team was not healthy for that last 8 weeks of the season, 7 weeks of the season. So a lot of things changed for this team. They weren't worried about first place in their division, obviously. Again, previous episodes I've said that wasn't the point of what they were trying to do. They wanted to be healthy. They are. Eyes are on the prize. Just win. They have to win on the road. Just one game in every series right now. One game. That's all they have to do, and then win at home. Okay? That's all they got to do. So, easier said than done, obviously. But I just like the fact that this Panthers team didn't show like they were worried. They didn't act like they were worried when they were on the ice. They hung around in all their games. They weren't major, massive blowouts, except for the last one against the Lightning where they were resting their players. But to me, I love the fact that this team is healthy right now because they're going to get on that ice, and I think they're going to look like a totally different team than they were in the last 4 weeks of the season. So the biggest thing this team needs to do is limit the power play for the Tampa Bay Lightning. If they're committing penalty after penalty after penalty and dumb penalties, they're just going to shoot themselves in the foot because you can't give the Tampa Bay Lightning the opportunity to be a man up. They're 26% on their power play. The good news is the penalty kill for the Panthers against the Tampa Bay Lightning is at 89%. The Lightning are just 2 of 18 against the Florida Panthers this season. Those are great numbers. I like it. I'll take them. I'll take it. But you can see here, the Panthers just have to limit their penalties. They have to be smarter. They really do. And the Lightning are going to do everything they can to instigate things, try to draw penalties. That's what they do. That's why they're so good on the power play. My goodness. 26%. So, if we're giving up 4 or 5 penalties a game, being a man down, they're going to hit on 25% of these, which means a goal per game if they're committing that many penalties. And we can't do that. If we're doing that, we're not going to win this series. So they have to be really smart. I know our penalty kill has been great against them, and let's hope it stays that way. And man, I'm getting nervous talking about it because I already know this is going to be such a scrappy series, and we're going to see a lot of dumb penalties. We're going to see some holds. We're going to see a lot of tripping, things like that, because these two teams are incredibly aggressive against one another. They hate one another. In-state rivalry. Come on, guys. It's one of the best rivalries in all of the NHL as of right now. So these are this is the practice lines from Saturday. First line, we already know Verhaeghe, Barkov, and Reinhart is the power line. That's their go-to. That's their bread and butter line that gets them all the points. And they have, do they have a lot of points. I'll tell you that. They have 79 goals and 126 assists on the season combined between those players. That's a lot. So this team can do a lot of damage on offense. That's why they are line number 1. Line number 2, Samoskevich, Bennett, and Tkachuk. A little bit lower, drop off there, 62 goals and 77 assists. I'm going to tell you one thing in a second. And then third line, Lucian, Lundell, and Marchand. That line has 49 goals and 71 assists. But I want you guys to think about this in terms of game situations. Paul Maurice is going to stick with what he knows works right now, where the chemistry is. I get it. But if you replace Marchand and put him on that second line and put Samoskevich on that third line, you're going to have more of a psychological advantage there because Bennett, Tkachuk, and Marchand know the game very well psychologically. They know how to mess with their opponents. They know how to put a boost back into this team. And I think if we see that happen and that line change, it's going to happen pretty much during the game in game one. It's hard for me to say it because again, I'm not the coach. I can't tell you, but in terms of a game situation, if the Panthers are losing and they need a spark psychologically, he might make that move. If that line isn't doing a whole hell of a lot, I'm not saying they're not. I think they're going to do very well with Samoskevich and Tkachuk and Bennett on the same line. I still think it's going to be a great line. But he might make that change because he wants three scrappy guys out there getting into the head of their opponent. I could see it happening if the Panthers need a big spark. I could see him maybe pulling that change in the middle of the game or towards the end of the game. But again, don't fix what isn't broken. Stick with the lines that you have. These are the lines from Saturday. Now, again, we're not going to know what's going to happen with Tkachuk until Monday night after practice. Then there'll be a decision definitively from head coach Paul Maurice. He will come out and tell us if Tkachuk is going to play, but all signs point to him playing in game one of this first round series on Tuesday evening. Now, the last slide here that I want to show you guys is Oliver Bjorkstrand is out for this whole series. That is a blessing for Panthers fans and this Panthers team because he does contribute on the offense. He does. 21 goals and 25 assists. Pretty good numbers. They're going to miss him on that offensive side, and he's also a pretty solid defender too. So without him in the lineup, that actually helps the Panthers' chances of escaping this first round, going into the second round and moving forward. And I do think, again, with that second line for the Panthers, we'll go back to that right now. With that second line of the Panthers, that change might happen again as we see the series move forward and we get deeper into the playoffs. Maybe some adjustments will be made also with injuries, and hopefully there's not a lot of them, or there's none. That would be the best case scenario, but we'll see what happens, guys, as we move forward. So as we do this, by the numbers, Matthew Tkachuk, we obviously know 52 games, 22 and 35 are spectacular numbers for a guy who only played 52 games. So he's going to be an immediate spark to this team, the way that he contributes on offense. Psychologically, his defense is great too. He's going to be an enormous addition to this team, especially after the long time that he spent not playing. Brad Marchand, like I said, you interchange the lines there. You bring his 23 goals and 28 assists into that second line, but that's not going to happen as of yet. But he will be a big-time contributor if that does happen. I think he's in the right spot for now. Let's see what happens in game one and move on from there. Sam Bennett, scrappy dude, 25 and 26. Again, another great season by him. Whew, man, having an enormous personal PR year. It is an awesome thing to see from Sam Bennett, and might be sad to see him go because this is going to be a big time playoff show for him, especially as he's entering the end of his contract with the Panthers. Mackie Samoskevich, good year, 15-16 for a rookie, awesome numbers, really fast guy, gets picked down a little bit, but I like him. He's going to be on this team for a long time. He's going to be a difference maker as well, and we'll probably see him on, one of those that second, possibly first line, depending on what happens in years to come. But he's a hell of a talent, great pickup by this team. And here's Oliver Bjorkstrand. These are his numbers. I already told you goals and assists, but he's plus minus is 2. His takeaways at 26. He doesn't really give away the puck all that often. He's a great player, and they're going to miss him dearly, guys. They really are. So I can't wait to see what's going to happen on Tuesday night. It's going to be scrappy. It's going to be a physical game, as it is every single time these two teams meet. And I think the Lightning are out for revenge, considering what has happened the last few seasons. It was all in the early 2020s. It was all the Lightning beating up on the Panthers, and now the tables have turned. And I think Vasilevsky is going to be tough in the net, but we got a guy named Sergei Bobrovsky who's also pretty darn tough in between the pipes, and he is going to have an amazing series because he's been playing some great goaltending in the last few weeks, and the last about quarter of the season, he's just been dynamite. But so is Vasilevsky. So it's going to be, like I said, scrappy, physical, in your face hockey, guys. So get ready for a good one tomorrow night. I cannot wait